Hey everybody, we are in the beautiful Pines up near Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm leading a men's retreat this weekend, but it is, just gonna film this one right now for Mantis Monday and talking about live fire today. And I wanna ask this question. I've had this question many times because you see me shooting on the channel out at 15, 20, 25 yards and even farther with a pistol. And so people have asked, John, why is that important? You're never gonna have a defensive encounter that important. Actually, I disagree with you. So we're gonna talk about why this is important for even defensive style shooting, and we're gonna show how to do it well. If you're frustrated with your shooting and your shooting performance, you need the Mantis X to help you to get to the next level of skills. It's definitely helped me. So thanks a lot to our sponsors, as always. We're gonna showcase a little bit. The Mantis is gonna help us kind of see what's important here in a little bit. I'm shooting MagTech ammo through my HK Gray Guns P30. We're shooting it, appreciate our sponsors in MagTech. We've got new bold targets up here. So these are kind of interesting targets. I've got a whole bunch of 8-inch circles out here. And right now we're at 15 yards. And somebody asked me this question and go, well, John, why is this important? How many times are you gonna see defensive shootings out to 15 or longer yards? Well, not super common. However, they do happen. Number one, I see these happen in armed robberies where the bad guy is at one end of the store and the defender is kind of at another end of the store. And that can open up to 2 car lengths, 15 yards, about 3 car lengths or so right now. So, the average Walmart, parking lot encounter, more for an active killer than for anything else. That's really where this comes to light. Active killer interdiction. So in interpersonal violence, it's usually a little bit closer, but we can have shots 15, 20, 25 yards. The average grocery store aisle is 27 yards long. Walmart can stretch open a lot farther than that. Remember, we had a video on the channel not long ago of an active killer interdiction through a Walmart. Another thing to think about is church safety. If you're carrying your firearm at church as part of your church safety team or even just as part of your family safety team, man, those distances can open up a lot. When I was pastoring a church, I could tell you the distance from my pulpit to the back door of our auditorium was a 19-yard shot. And so I practice that all the time. So what are we gonna have to do to make hits out here on these 8-inch circles? We're gonna have to hit fundamentals of marksmanship. We're gonna have to grip the gun well, we're gonna have to sight the gun well, we're gonna have to trigger the gun well, and we're gonna have to keep that sight picture correct till the gun goes off to get our hits. As we open up the distance, we're gonna have to start worrying about our offsets a little bit and start worrying about bullet drop when we start getting out to 40, 50 yards. We'll check that out in a second. So what are we gonna do? We are simply going to hit the fundamentals. Out here at 15 yards, no difference than in at 7 yards, but I have to be a little bit more careful. If I shoot, I can shoot quickly at 7 yards, and my scores on something like the Mantis aren't gonna be as great, but I have more margin for error because that 8-inch circle at 7 yards allows more deviation degrees than it does back the farther we go. This is why your fundamentals are so critical. Let's take a few shots and see what we mean. So the interesting thing of these targets, you can shoot them up close, which is great. They're steel replacements, but we're shooting them back here a little farther. You'll see them wiggle a little bit when they get hit. Bullets do pass through them, okay? So I do not have any ammo in this gun right now, so let's put some in it. Range is hot. Okay, so again, what I want to see here out at 15 yards is, can I hit that 8-inch circle? Well, gosh, I better be able to, right? So that 8-inch circle corresponds really well to the vital area on a bad guy. So let's see what we can get. If I'm going to shoot that orange one on the left-hand side, can I see it? See it wiggle there? Yes, I can. How do I do that? Well, simply, I have to be able to put my sight on the target and press the trigger straight to the rear. So again, can I see enough of it to make it do what I want it to do? Yes. Now, how much deviation do I have? Well, I could put my dot at the top of it. Let's kind of see where we've got here. So if my dot is sitting at the top of it, will that make it wiggle? Sure did, not so much. At the bottom. See how it wiggled a little bit different there? Okay, so if I'm at the bottom here, I actually missed low on that one. That's pretty funny. You can see it wiggling a little bit different. So I've got that much 8 inches worth of play that I can move. Now, I've got that same 8 inches, but it's a smaller angle when we move it back. So now we're back at the 25-yard line. And at the 25-yard line, there are no lies detected, okay? So what you're gonna be able to do here is really where all the money is. And I'll tell you, when I take classes where I'm a student on the line, back here is where the iron sight guys really start having a hard time, man. It's hard to get a refined sight picture enough under any kind of speed constraints with iron sights. You can do it, you gotta be a really good shooter with your irons. Dot, this is still a pretty easy shot, because again, as long as I can maintain the muzzle still, I can get my hits. So again, 25-yard shot, is this a realistic shot? This is how far your average grocery store aisle is. There's somebody, your significant other is on the other side of the store, but you got an active killer, you got somebody robbing that joint. You might need to take this shot. This could be something that that from one building to the other at your church, you might need to hit. So grip the gun, sight the gun, trigger the gun. Let's see that same thing. I'm gonna hit that same thing. Now my dot is set for that, and you see it move again. All day, easy day, press the dot, put the dot on the target, press the trigger. See it wiggling around. That's exactly what we want it to do. We don't get a tang out of the new bulbs, but we can see them wiggle. Life is good. Now, so again, I think that's an ad for the red dot. Let's back up and see what more we can do. Well, we're back at 35 yards now. So again, now back at 35 yards, boy, those targets start looking really small. And you ask the question, wait a minute, again, when would I have to take this shot? Well, somebody's killing people over there that you love. You might need to take this shot at this kind of distance. How am I gonna do that? Get the gun out of the holster, sight the gun, trigger the gun. Now, grip the gun, sight the gun, trigger the gun. Now we're gonna assume here, again, I'm not using from the draw here a whole lot because I don't think I'm gonna have to speed draw to get a shot like that very often. A lot of times you've already heard somebody, you know, some killing going on, screaming happening, so the gun's already out and in your hand. It's generally how I practice these from a long way away. Okay, now I will say this dot is sighted at 25 yards, and so what we're gonna start seeing here is I'm gonna have to go a little Kentucky windage and get a little high. I'm gonna have to aim to the top of the target out here, but let's see if we can see that movement from out here. If not, if I don't actually get the hits, I'm just gonna lie to you and tell you that you can't see the movement from here. No, I'm not, I'm kidding. All right, let's see what we can get. There's the sight picture that I need. I've got all the grip that I need on the gun. Hey, look at that, it wiggled. Can you hit that hit from 35 yards? I think you should be able to. Let's see if that was a fluke or if I can hit it again. Get all the grip you need, see as much dot as you need to. No, I think I got it there. I did, I actually got it. I thought I was a little bit over it. So we got two. Let's go back again, see what we get. Holy Moses, we're all the way back at 50 yards. Can we hit with 50 yards? Now, I'm gonna tell you, some people are gonna say, well, is the gun accurate enough or whatever at 50 yards? Well, most of your pistols, so I haven't looked particularly at this HKP 30, but like for instance, if you're shooting a Glock, it's about a 3-minute of angle gun unless you've got a competition barrel in it, which I don't have a competition barrel in this gun. So let's just say the gun's about a 3-minute of angle. Let's say that the ammo is another 2 minutes of angle. So we have about 5 minutes of angle, 4 to 5 minutes of angle when you combine those two. So the dot itself is a 3.5-minute dot. So you put all those together and we have about maybe anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes worth of slop. So wherever it's aiming, the bullet could impact around their 6 minutes of angle. At 50 yards, 6 minutes of angle is around a 3-inch deviation. Maybe a little bit more. They're not exactly identical, but close enough. So I have an 8-inch circle. Should I be able to hit an 8-inch circle with knowing that I have about 3 inches of deviation based on purely the tolerances in the gun? I should be able to if I grip the gun, sight the gun, and trigger the gun with care. Let's try it. See if I can get it to go. Same target. Gonna have a little more Kentucky windage here, a little bit more height. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. That's what we want. Now I gotta tell you, at this distance, at 50 yards, I'm aiming at the very top of that target, but I got it to move, so let's see if we can do it again or if that was a fluke. Might have missed that one a little bit low. There it went. Now we got it all there all day long. So I was aiming right on the top there. So, hey, 2 out of 3 at 50 yards. Is that something that we got to be able to do? I think it is. Let's go in and see if we can get some objective data with the Mantis on this. I have my son James here. He's visiting me from South Carolina for the weekend, and he's going to hold on to this so that we can kind of get some idea. But we're back at the 25-yard line now. I've put my Mantis unit on just so we can kind of see how much slop can I have and still get my hits. Okay, so let's see if we can get it. Let's see what we get. Got it all day long. And you see, I only required a 75.8. And if you look at my yellow, I pressed that quite a bit to the left or to the right rather, as it went off. But that was enough to get an 8-inch hit at this kind of distance. Let's see if we can get another one and kind of see how much we got to have. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I was a little bit high on that one. Let's see if we can get it again. There was a good hit. It's not connecting to him. Gosh dang it. So let's see what we can do. There's a good one, and again, a 74.0. So what we're gonna see here is again, I'm pressing from left to right because I am, I'm hurrying a little bit, but I'm still getting a hit. So that's how much of a score I gotta get to kind of get the kind of hit that I want. Let's back up and see what we gotta do. Back at the 35-yard line, I think we're gonna have to have a little bit more refinement in order to get these hits. See if I can get another hit. Got that one good. Now you notice that was a 96.6. That was a pretty darn good shot. And you notice on my yellow, I was super tight on that one. So I needed a much higher score in order to get a good hit. See if we can get another good hit. I think I was over the top of it there. So you know why I was over the top of it there? Look at that, an 81.7. So I had too much press. I had about the same movement to the side as I had at 25 yards. But with that at 35, I start missing. I got to get a more refined sight picture and see more here to get the kind of hit that I want. That's the way it works. Let's go back again. Okay, now we're back at 50. This is going to take all the refinement. Okay? So back here at 50, I can't mess around. I got to get everything right and a little bit of help in Kentucky windage. I think I might have been right over the top there. Let's see if we can get a good hit. Okay, that one was just over the top. It was a great shot, but I got to be honest with you, I was right at the top of it, and you notice I had a 96.0, and I was just over it top to the right. Like I said, sometimes you've got some minutes of angle here, and every once in a while, it's going to get you over the top. Let's see if I can get another one and get it to wiggle real good with about that kind of score. Am I okay with a 96 score? Sure I am. That's a great score on this. Again, but we're a long way away. Oh, that was a terrible shot. I tell you what, right at the end, I anticipated and flinched like crazy. That was a dumb shot. Let's do another one. Good hit there. 89.2, I still got it to wiggle a little bit. Okay, so again, right about that 90 point is where we're gonna get it. See if I can get another one. Come on, John, set everything up. Yep, got it to move. Again, why did it take to get it to move? A 97.5, and you can see I had no movement at the 150 milliseconds beforehand. I don't know, should we go back further and see what we can get? 75 yards, man. Those little 8-inch circles are little. Let's see what we can do, see if we can make a move. What do you think, James? You think I can hit it?
I think you can hit it.
Red dot makes this shot doable, okay? So the red dot at this point, a 3.5 minute of angle dot is about 2.5 inches across on there. But again, I'm getting bullet drop from here, right? So with another 25 yards of bullet drop, I'll bet to get a hit from this distance, another 25 yards, I probably got to put it on the 2x4 above it. Let's see. So you got to bird dog this for me and see if I'm hitting low or if I'm hitting away. Does that make sense? Here's where all the fundamentals come into play. You notice I said point your toes at the target?
Yep.
If I don't do that, I'll open my hips up and I'll miss it all day long. So toes, shoulders, everything out where I want it, I think right there. Hit it.
Good shot.
So here's what I just found. I thought I had some Kentucky windage from here, but in reality, I forgot the fact that actually 25 yards is on the way up. And so I'm actually coming right back down to it at 75 yards. So I'm actually hitting dead center mass. This is actually something that's kind of fun to do. Today I learned where my, coming back to my cross reference. So at 25 yards, it crosses the dot for the first time. 75 yards is about where it's crossing back again. Let's see if I can hit it again. Now I know exactly where I need to be. I'm right on that dot. Gosh, that's fun. I got to be honest with you. Let's back up, see if we can do it again. 100 yards. 100 yards away. That is what they might call a long shot with a pistol. You can do it though, again. So now I know I'm gonna have some drop in the bullet. So we'll see how much we got. Let's see what we can get. If your fundamentals aren't perfect here, you're not gonna hit everything. You're gonna hit a thing at all. Okay, feel good about it. See it. Oh, I was just over it.
Yep.
Again, I got about maybe 6 or 8 minutes of deviation out here, about 8 inches. So this is a hard thing to hit. I think I still hit over it. Right? Oh, you know what? I'm probably getting a little left to right push from the wind. I'm probably getting a little push from the wind at this point. Okay, let's see if I can adjust for that. Kentucky windage, here we go. I hit the one to the left of it. Okay, the problem is, of course, is that's a bus full of nuns and orphans that I just hit one of, so that's bad. Ooh, just off the right of it. So you can start to see, back at 100 yards, this starts to get spicy, okay? It starts to get very, very difficult. But all I'm doing the whole time is just doing my basics. Now, I will say this. Somebody might say here in Arizona, wait a minute, John, you're not supposed to shoot over roads. Totally agree with you. You don't shoot over roads. This isn't a road, though. It's a private driveway, okay? So this is all private property. It's a private driveway, so that's not a problem here. Anyhow, let's recognize the fact that, okay, I got one hit on an 8-inch plate out at 100 yards. How are you gonna swing that? Well, you gotta have perfect fundamentals. Where do you practice your perfect fundamentals? I'm not gonna do this shooting out at 100 yards all the time, but you know what I am gonna do? I'm gonna run into 3 yards and shoot dot torture. I'm gonna shoot those little bitty 2-inch circles till I can hit it right every time. And then I can push that back. If you can do a perfect dot torture, you can run 50 out of 50 dot torture at about 7 yards, then you can start talking about walking these back. And, you know, these are the kind of things that you do when you want to get really good level with shooting. Now, where's that 100-yard shot going to come in? Almost nowhere. I don't think you're going to take that kind of shot. However, if I can take that kind of shot and I know I can hit it, then guess what? When I'm back up at that 50-yard line and I'm in a Walmart trying to get, make a path for my family to get out of a bad situation, if I can hit it at 100 yards, now 50 yards feels pretty much like an easy day.